Welcome to Learn English with Podcast. Today, our amazing hosts, Luca and Maria, are here to take you through another exciting episode. Luca, Maria, over to you.
Okay, let's jump right in. Have you ever felt like you've hit a wall thinking, well, that's just who I am. I can't change that.
Like maybe you're introverted or struggle with discipline.
Exactly. Or maybe feeling like you're just not naturally confident. What if we told you that idea that your personality is some fixed, unchanging thing is, well, according to the perspectives we've been exploring, simply not the case?
Yeah, what's truly insightful from the points laid out is this powerful assertion that not only is your personality not set in stone, but you possess this remarkable capacity, like real agency, to actively shape and evolve who you are over time.
Exactly. And that's what this deep dive is all about, really. We're taking a close look at some fascinating ideas, some practical approaches presented to understand the fundamental principles and actionable pathways for personal transformation. Think of it as, unlocking a more active role in becoming the person you truly aspire to be.
Right. And the viewpoints cover a wide spectrum, from the basic science explaining why personality is flexible, right down to concrete, tangible steps you can begin taking, like right now, to influence that evolution.
It's about grasping the underlying dynamics.
Yeah.
And then seeing clearly how to apply them in your own life.
Exactly.
And honestly, bringing these insights to you, distilling complex ideas, connecting the threads, trying to make it all resonate in a way that's both accessible and, well, genuinely interesting. It takes a considerable amount of effort.
It really does. A lot goes into prepping these.
So if you find value in these deep dives, if they help you think differently or give you that aha moment, the absolute best way you can support this work is by hitting the like button right now, maybe sharing this with someone you think would benefit, and definitely subscribing.
Your support truly fuels our ability to keep bringing you these explorations.
It absolutely does. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Now, that central idea that the information highlights right from the start is this fundamental truth. Personality is not fixed.
Right, which flies directly in the face of that common, often self-limiting phrase, that's just how I am.
We use it all the time, don't we?
Like a shield, maybe, or just resignation to a label we've accepted. But the core argument we've been looking at is that personality is less about some intrinsic static quality and far more about the cumulative effect of our habits, our deeply held beliefs, the environments we hang out in, and the consistent choices we make day after day.
It's not purely genetics or something rigidly sealed in childhood. That's the key takeaway.
And the scientific perspectives presented really support this.
Right, strongly. Psychologists looking at data over decades, they've amassed evidence showing personality is far more malleable than we used to think. It's heavily influenced by our repeated behaviors, the patterns we establish.
So it's not like it's immutably wired from birth.
Not at all. For instance, some viewpoints explicitly mention work effectively debunking the myth that traits are unchangeable. The argument is pretty compelling. Personality is largely a consequence of your environment, your habits, and the decisions you make. Which means, becoming more outgoing or developing greater discipline. It's absolutely within reach.
If you commit to building the right routine.
Exactly, provided you commit.
That feels incredibly liberating when you really let it sink in.
It is.
And it also lines up with findings from those long-term studies mentioned, the ones tracking people over many years.
The longitudinal studies, yeah.
They show traits like conscientiousness,
yeah,
being organized, diligent, responsible, and emotional stability actually change significantly as people live and gain experience.
And it's not just about getting older, it's tied to lessons learned, coping mechanisms developed, refining daily habits in response to life's curveballs.
So think of personality as like a public face, a perception others have based on consistent patterns.
That's a good way to put it. If your default is avoiding big parties or holding back opinions, people might see you as shy.
But if you consistently make small efforts, initiate conversations, volunteer for stuff, take the lead.
Right, that repetition starts to shift the perception and the reality towards confidence or leadership. It's not magic.
No, it's the compounding effect of repeated actions.
Precisely.
And this ties really powerfully into concept of identity that's explored. How you show up. It's deeply intertwined with how you see yourself, isn't it?
Absolutely. If you hold that internal belief, I'm just socially awkward, well, that belief tends to dictate your behavior.
You avoid eye contact, skip events, stay quiet. You live into that label.
But the idea suggests that by consciously shifting your internal identity, even just a little bit, maybe seeing yourself as someone who's learning to connect better.
Yeah.
That new internal story starts to drive different behavior. You might try a simple hello, ask an open question, accept an invitation.
And repeating those actions starts overriding the old identity. New traits start taking hold.
Which leads to this powerful truth emphasized again and again. Personality is built, not just born.
Right, think about babies. They don't arrive disciplined or charismatic.
Exactly. Those are shaped over time by environment, encouragement, feedback, choices.
So the empowering conclusion is, you are not trapped by who you used to be. Every single day, through your habits, your focus, your mindset, you're actively sculpting the person you're becoming.
And the science behind this, neuroplasticity. The brain isn't static. It can actually reorganize itself.
Literally rewire pathways based on new experiences, inputs, behaviors.
Yes. When you consistently practice new ways of thinking, reacting emotionally, behaving, you are actively reshaping your brain's architecture.
Shifting the default patterns.
Which, consequently, influences the very core of your personality.
Wow. So, okay, the information makes it clear. This journey takes effort. It needs awareness, consistency, stepping outside your comfort zone.
Definitely. It's not passive.
But the message is incredibly hopeful. Your personality is a choice if you're willing to put in that work.
And the examples given are striking, aren't they? People identifying as deeply shy becoming compelling public speakers.
Or undisciplined folks becoming athletes or entrepreneurs. Their transformation wasn't luck.
No, it was the direct result of decisions, environment, and deliberate habits they cultivated.
Which leads us perfectly to the next question. If personality is shaped by actions and surroundings, where do we even start? What are the first steps for intentional change?
Good question. And the viewpoints we've looked at offer some foundational, really crucial steps. The absolute first one, the prerequisite for everything else.
Let me guess. Self-awareness.
Bingo. Absolutely fundamental. Trying to change without self-awareness is like trying to navigate a new city blindfolded.
Yeah, no map, no starting point.
Exactly. Self-awareness, as it's described, is that capacity to understand your own thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and critically, their effect on you and on others.
The ability to observe yourself objectively, almost like an outsider.
Right. And the information breaks it down helpfully into two types. There's internal self-awareness.
Knowing your values, passions, aspirations, if you're aligned.
Correct. And then external self-awareness. Understanding how others perceive you.
And the point is, you need both, right? For a full picture and real change.
You really do. You might know your inner world perfectly, what you care about, but be totally unaware that your crossed arms or tone of voice are sending completely different signals.
Okay, so how do we build this? What tools are suggested?
Several practical things. Journaling is big, helps identify recurring thoughts or emotional triggers.
Mirror talk comes up here too, initially just for observation.
Yes, to see your own body language, facial expressions, energy. Then there's seeking feedback, asking trusted people how they see you. That's vital for the external piece.
And personality assessments.
Like the Big Five.
They're mentioned as potentially useful starting points for self-exploration, but with a big caution. Use them for insights, not as rigid, limiting labels. Don't box yourself in.
Got it. And asking ourselves tough questions seems key too.
Definitely. Like,
Yeah.
What traits are you proud of? What holds you back? When do you feel most authentic? What would you do if fear wasn't a factor? Honesty here is crucial. And it's not a one-and-done thing, is it?
Not at all. It's presented as a continuous daily practice, like hygiene for your mind and personality.
Needs consistency, curiosity, and compassion for what you find.
Exactly. Observe yourself without harsh judgment. See the patterns. That gives you the power to choose differently.
Okay, so self-awareness is the bedrock. What's the next major influence highlighted that shapes who we become?
Your environment. And what's really striking is how subtly, how powerfully our surroundings influence us.
The people, places, media, the energy.
All of it, quietly shaping us. That famous idea, often credited to Jim Rohn, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yeah, I've heard that one.
It's referenced because the perspectives suggest it holds real behavioral truth. Spend time with certain people and you start subconsciously mirroring them.
Absorbing their attitudes, habits, even traits.
It's social mirroring. It happens.
That resonates strongly. If your inner circle is always negative or resists change, it's incredibly hard not to soak some of that up yourself.
Totally. And the readings break down different types of influential environments. Your physical space cluttered and draining, or organized and inspiring.
Your social environment, encouraging growth, or reinforcing limits and negativity.
And your digital environment, the content you consume online. Is it empowering or just draining and distracting?
So the strategy is pretty clear then. Upgrade your environment.
Proactively. Intentionally seek out people you admire whose qualities you want to emulate.
Curate your digital intake, unfollow the draining stuff, seek out the good stuff.
And design your physical space to support the person you're becoming. Create areas for focus, calm, or activity.
And this leads to a really powerful argument made in the points. Environment overrides willpower.
This is critical. It's not necessarily that you lack willpower, it's that your environment often exerts a much stronger pull on your behavior.
Like trying to eat healthy when the kitchen is full of junk food.
Exactly. It puts immense pressure on willpower. Or wanting to read more, but your phone is always closer than a book. The environment steers you.
So the strategy is to rig the game in your favor.
Set up your environment so the positive behavior is the default, the path of least resistance.
Healthy snacks on the counter, books within reach.
Make it easier to do the things that align with who you want to become, and harder to do the things holding you back. The big takeaway, your environment is either fueling your future or feeding your past.
That completely reframes the challenge. Less about internal battles, more about shaping your external world.
Precisely. Which brings us nicely to the next major pillar discussed. The huge power of habits.
Right, looping back to personality being shaped by repeated patterns.
Exactly. The assertion is simple but profound. You are fundamentally what you repeatedly do. Your personality traits aren't mysterious inner qualities.
They're the visible result of your ingrained habits.
Pretty much. Personality is described as simply habitual behavior. That cheerful person probably has habits like smiling, speaking kindly, looking for the positive.
And someone seen as lazy. Maybe repeated inaction or procrastination habits. Yeah.
Daily repetition creates those deep neural pathways, making actions automatic. So, changing your personality, fundamentally, it's about changing your daily patterns and rituals.
Are there specific habit areas highlighted as being particularly impactful?
Yes, several. Morning routines get mentioned, setting the tone for your energy and mindset all day.
Communication habits, too, like eye contact, listening.
Definitely. Framed not as fixed traits, but as learned skills developed through habit. A daily learning habit, even brief, strengthens curiosity and adaptability.
Even appearance dressing with intention is noted for affecting energy and presentation.
And then there's the vital concept of keystone habits.
Ah, the ones that create a ripple effect.
Exactly. Establish one, and it triggers positive changes elsewhere. Waking early, exercising, journaling, reading daily. Often cited examples.
Locking in just one or two can start a chain reaction.
It can. And the practical advice on how to build habits that actually stick is gold. Key thing, start small.
Consistency over perfection. Don't try to overhaul everything at once.
Right, attach a new habit to an existing one, habit stacking, like after my coffee I'll read 10 pages.
Track your progress visually. See the streak build.
Yeah, that's powerful motivation. And reward yourself. Celebrate the small wins to solidify the positive connection.
The quote highlighted about habits is potent. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits.
It's a strong reminder. Goals are important, but daily rituals determine who you become. Let those rituals reflect the future you.
Okay, so change is possible. We need awareness, environment shaping, and habit building. Now let's get into the really concrete actions.
Yes, the specific things you can do, starting now, that leverage these principles. 5 distinct steps outlined.
These feel like practical entry points, yeah. For building those identity-shaping habits. First one, say yes more often.
And the clarification is key. Not about being a pushover or agreeing indiscriminately.
Right. It's about cultivating openness to new experiences, opportunities, things that might normally trigger hesitation or fear.
Leveraging the power of yes to gently confront fears, take calculated risks, embrace growth opportunities.
The benefits listed are compelling. Forces personal growth by putting you in new situations.
Expands horizons, broadens perspective, can spark enhanced creativity through fresh ideas and people.
Improves relationships if you say yes to social invites or collaborations. And builds tangible increased confidence each time you navigate something new.
And the implementation advice. Start small, say yes to a new cafe, not climbing Everest tomorrow.
Reflect on the outcome. What did you learn, even if it wasn't perfect?
And crucially, set boundaries. Know the difference between a growth opportunity and just an obligation or distraction. Choosing yes intentionally opens pathways.
Okay, practical step 2 sounds simple. Read 10 pages a day.
Seemingly small, but highlighted for its profound compounding impact over time, both personal and professional development.
The cognitive and emotional benefits are interesting, enhancing focus and concentration.
In our distraction-filled world, yeah. Stress reduction too, mental escapism, a break.
And improved empathy, especially from fiction, stepping into other perspectives.
Exactly. Plus, the direct knowledge and skill acquisition. Vocabulary expansion happens naturally.
Sharpens critical thinking as you analyze stuff, embodies continuous learning.
Keeps you informed, adaptable, engaged.
Establishing the habit sounds straightforward. Set specific goals, pages, time, whatever works.
Create a dedicated reading environment, comfy, quiet, distraction-free.
And choose diverse material, different genres, subjects. Keep it fresh.
Dedicating even that small slice of time daily, it's framed as a fundamental investment in your growth.
Step 3 might make some people squirm. Record yourself speaking.
Yeah, I can feel awkward initially. But the information presents it as a uniquely powerful tool for change.
Not vanity, but enhancing communication, confidence, presentation.
The benefits are clear. Huge for self-awareness, hearing and seeing yourself catches filler words. Tone issues, pacing, nervous habits you didn't know you had.
Directly helps pronunciation and clarity.
And it's a massive confidence builder. Seeing your own progress over time, watching yourself improve, actively reduces speaking anxiety.
Applications are broad too. Interview prep, presentations, even language learning.
For sure. Implementation. Set clear objectives. What are you focusing on improving? Practice regularly. And if you can, seek feedback from trusted folks on the recordings.
It might be uncomfortable, but it leads to big improvements in self-expression.
Moving to number 4. Dress with intention. Seems superficial, maybe?
At first glance, yeah. But the perspectives dig into its deeper psychological and social impact.
It's presented as actively influencing not just how others see you, but crucially how you see yourself.
Making conscious choices about attire that align with your desired identity in the context.
The psychological impact is fascinating. It affects self-perception. Dressing the part reinforces the identity. I am capable. I feel confident.
Can genuinely provide mood enhancement colors. Styles can lift spirits.
And there's that behavioral influence idea, enclosed cognition. Wearing professional clothes might actually make you feel and act more focused.
Interesting. Socially, the impacts are obvious. First impressions.
Credibility and authority, especially professionally, can even open networking opportunities.
Strategy suggested. Understand the context. Invest in quality pieces that fit well. Express individuality appropriately.
It's a daily practice projecting confidence externally, reinforcing self-worth internally.
Okay, 5th and final practical step. Quick wins for instant impact.
Love these. Small, deliberate actions with surprisingly big effects on perception and self-feeling. Minimal effort, maximum impact.
Brilliant for immediate boosts. What are they? Smile first.
Disarming, sets a positive tone, actually improves your own mood via facial feedback.
Fix your posture.
Instantly conveys confidence, competence. Research suggests it even affects physiology positively. Sit tall, stand tall.
And consciously ask great questions.
Shows genuine interest, encourages deeper conversations beyond small talk, fosters respect.
Implementing these is about being mindful, practicing regularly till they're automatic, and reflecting on how they change interactions.
Simple, powerful ways to boost interpersonal effectiveness.
Okay, so those are the 5 steps. Now let's circle back to mirror talk. Mentioned earlier for awareness, but emphasized more strongly for identity shaping.
Yes, this is where it gets really transformative. Moving beyond just observation.
Why does it work again? The subconscious absorbs repetition, right?
Especially with emotion. We often unconsciously repeat negative self-talk. I'm clumsy. I always mess this up.
Mirror talk deliberately flips that script.
Exactly. You declare a new desired identity directly to yourself. It creates cognitive dissonance. Your current reality might not match yet, but the repeated declaration pushes behavior and belief to align.
The how-to guidance is specific. Daily practice, morning ideally.
Stand tall, look yourself in the eyes, speak with genuine emotion.
Use present tense affirmations. I'm confident, not I will be.
Repeat them 3 to 5 times. Make it a ritual of identity reinforcement.
Examples given are empowering. Affirmations about your voice, worth, courage, clarity, the person you're becoming, even daily goals.
Right, like today I approach challenges with resilience.
And the key insight, It's more than just motivation.
While it is motivating, its main function is creating that clear signal. This is who I am now.
And you start noticing shifts in behavior.
Yeah.
Because your brain wires actions to match that declared identity.
It's quite profound when you think about it.
And combining mirror talk with journaling is suggested as a powerful combo.
Yeah, reinforcing the transformation verbally and through written reflection, hitting it from multiple angles.
Okay, so pulling all these threads together.
Yeah.
We see a cohesive picture emerging.
Definitely. Personality's dynamic nature opens the door. Self-awareness provides the map.
Environment is the lever helping or hindering. Habits are the building blocks.
And intentional practices like the 5 steps in Mirror Talk, those are the tools you use to actively build those habits and accelerate becoming.
It all loops back to that central message. Personality isn't fixed. It's a living expression of your awareness, environment, habits, intentional actions.
The practical steps aren't just random tips. They're concrete ways to build the habits and cultivate the environment that foster the personality you want.
And it reinforces that idea. You are always becoming.
Change isn't passive. It stems directly from doing.
So having explored all these perspectives, these insights, what does this mean for you listening right now?
It means the person you are reflects countless moments of choice and action, and you have incredible power to consciously influence that ongoing creation.
This deep dive paints a clear, hopeful picture. You're not stuck being who you were last year, last week, even 5 minutes ago. You are perpetually becoming.
And given that fundamental truth you are always becoming and evolution is driven by action, it leaves us with a really potent question to ponder.
Which is?
What single, small, intentional choice will you make today, right now, to take just one step towards the person you are moving towards becoming tomorrow?
Something to think about. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.
I still remember the evening I decided to change my life. I was standing in front of a mirror at a friend's party, watching everyone laugh and mingle while I nursed the same glass of soda for over an hour. I didn't know how to join conversations. I didn't know what to say. More importantly, I didn't feel like I belonged. That night, I left early, blaming a headache. But the truth was, I was tired of watching life happen from the sidelines. That night, as I sat alone in my room, I asked myself a question that changed everything. What if the reason I always feel like I don't fit in is because I keep saying no to life? I realized I had built my personality around fear. Fear of rejection, fear of embarrassment, fear of not being enough. But what if I just started saying yes more? Not recklessly, but intentionally. That became my new mission. Say yes to things that scared me but could help me grow. The first opportunity came quickly. A coworker invited me to a weekend hiking trip. My first instinct was to say no. I didn't even like the outdoors much, but I caught myself and said, "Sure, I'd love to." That weekend changed something in me. I laughed more. I opened up. I bonded with people in ways I hadn't in years. Saying yes felt like unlocking a door I didn't know I had the key to. To keep the momentum going, I set a small goal for myself. Read 10 pages every day. I didn't care what it was, biographies, psychology books, even motivational content. At first, it felt like a chore, but after a few days, I started looking forward to it. I was absorbing ideas from people who had lived through things I couldn't imagine. I remember reading a story about someone who had reinvented themselves completely at the age of 45. That sparked something. If they could do it, why couldn't I? These books didn't just teach me lessons. They changed how I saw myself. I started thinking differently. I stopped assuming I was just shy or not good at socializing. I realized those were stories I had told myself for years, and like any story, they could be rewritten. One night, after finishing a chapter on communication skills, I tried something new. I recorded myself speaking. It felt weird at first. Who likes listening to their own voice? But when I played it back, I noticed things. I spoke too fast. My tone lacked confidence. I sounded like I didn't believe in what I was saying. Over the next few weeks, I made small tweaks. I practiced speaking slowly, clearly, and with purpose. And I kept recording. By the 5th recording, I didn't cringe when I heard myself. By the 10th, I actually sounded confident. I started bringing that new voice into real conversations. At work meetings, instead of sitting quietly, I shared my ideas. I noticed people began to listen. Not just out of politeness, but real interest. One colleague even said, "You've really started to come out of your shell lately." That moment was gold, but there was another, more subtle change I made. One that had a surprisingly big impact. I started dressing better. Not for others, but for myself. I cleaned out my closet and kept only the clothes that made me feel sharp, confident, and comfortable. No more oversized hoodies hiding my insecurities. I wore shirts that fit well, shoes that stood out, and even added a wristwatch just because it made me feel intentional. It's funny. Your clothes really do talk before you do. And mine started saying, "I'm here and I'm worth noticing." Then came the micro habits, the quick wins. I started smiling first when I entered a room. It wasn't easy at first, especially when my old habit was to look down or pretend to be busy on my phone. But smiling was like an invitation. For connection, for conversation, for warmth. People smiled back. And in those small exchanges, something began to shift. I wasn't invisible anymore.
I also worked on my posture, no more slouching. I kept my chin up, shoulders back, and feet planted firmly when I spoke. I learned that your body posture sends signals not just to others, but to yourself. Standing tall actually made me feel more grounded. It made me believe in my words more, and others felt it too. The most powerful change came from a simple shift in how I talk to people. I stopped trying to be interesting, and instead, I focused on being interested. I asked questions. Not the boring, "so what do you do?" kind, but questions that made people think. To what something you were excited about right now, or what made you smile this week? People opened up in ways I didn't expect. And every time they did, it made me feel connected in a way I had never felt before. Fast forward a few months, I'm not the same person who left that party early. I am still me, but better. More open, more confident, more engaged. I say yes more often. Even when it scares me, I read every day. I know the sound of my own voice and I like it. I dress like someone who's ready for opportunity. And I connect with people not by trying to impress them, but by genuinely wanting to know them. This didn't happen overnight. It happened one small choice at a time. But all those small choices added up to something big. A personality shift that I not only felt, but that others started to notice. So if you ever feel stuck in who you think you are, remember your personality isn't fixed. It's flexible, and it's shaped by the decisions you make every day. Say yes, read more. Speak up, dress sharp, smile first, ask better questions. These aren't just tips, they are tools. Tools to build the version of yourself you've always wanted to be. Because at the end of the day, your personality isn't a prison, it's a passport. And it's up to you where it takes you.
Thank you for watching. Your journey to better English and unstoppable confidence starts here. Like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep growing together. See you in the next video, champion.